Hello and welcome to the Cards of the Magi. My name is Chloe Pedalino. And before we get into things today, I just wanted to go over what the Cards of the Magi system actually is and where it originated, because it actually predates the system of tarot and dates back to the time of Atlantis, which we really don't know when it is. But we do know that this magic system of the Cards of the Magi, the science of the Cards of the Magi, went underground during the period and time of Ramses in Egypt. And it really only resurfaced rather, in the 1920s. Fast forward to more recently, and Robert Lee Camp developed these books that really laid out the system and how to quadrate the deck and put out the spread of the cards, which is what I use in order to do these monthly readings. But in an individual way, what's so cool about these cards is that every single 52-day period of your life is laid out in cards, indicating what happens for you in each 52-day period of your life. And also, based on the day that you were born, we each have two cards that are known as our birth card and our planetary ruling card. So, for example, you might be an ace of spades, or for example, you might be a king of spades. Now, each of those things have different meanings, and they also indicate that you have different life paths and therefore different 52-day periods, again, overruling every single year of your life. It's pretty remarkable how predictive this system is. If you're interested in getting a personalized reading, feel free to follow the link below. But without further ado, let's get into the October 2025 reading because we have a lot to cover here. Now, just looking at this reading in comparison to September of 2025, in September of 2025, we had three nines in very prominent positions. There were lots of endings that were going on in September. But here we actually have four rather, aces. All of the aces in the deck are present in this reading. What that indicates is there's a lot of initiatory, a lot of beginning energy coming in. So it's no surprise that last month we had a lot of nines, we had a lot of endings, and here we are in this month with a lot of new beginnings. So let's figure out and get into the reading about where those new beginnings actually are. We're going to start here with the Queen of Clubs. Now, the Queen of Clubs is a card of mental mastery and of intuition. It's a level of mastery in the mental field. Clubs are about the mind and about communication as well. So, this card indicates it's in what's called the long range position. That this month there's going to be a bit of a focus on a service to others, that service to others through sharing of knowledge, potentially teaching. If you are, for example, have a YouTube or what have you, and you're teaching other people, that's really going to be highlighted this month. You're going to be giving a lot of information. This was actually our result card for the month of September. It was in this position last month, indicating that our intuition was really going to be highlighted and strengthened. And guess what? It's showing up here in the month of October as being very strong. So trust your innate abilities, trust your intuition this month. And it actually indicates that you could access some hidden information that's really going to be beneficial to you because you really are in this royal court of knowledge this month. So notice and heed your intuition because it's going to be a strength for you this month, as is going to be any kind of way that you're communicating knowledge, communicating wisdom in service to others. Now, as we scoot over to the Four of Clubs here, this is in what's called the Pluto position. And a Pluto position is often areas where we need to put a little bit more effort. Now, fours are about stability and the clubs are about the mind. But the Four of Clubs here in this Pluto position is indicating that we're going to have to work to achieve kind of some strength, some stability, and some satisfaction in a particular area of our life. So, whereas last month we were kind of encouraged to be really creative, dabble our toes in multiple things. This month is indicating kind of to hone in focus on one particular area. And it's indicating that by doing so, by kind of focusing in and getting organized in a particular area, that we're actually going to feel a lot more contentment. We're going to feel more stable. We're going to feel a little bit more settled in our life. So, part of the effort that we might be putting in here is an effort towards changing the way we do things in order to achieve that focus in a single focused direction. So, it's going to ask us to get really focused. It's going to ask us to get practical on our approach to what we're doing. And in doing so, that's going to bring us satisfaction in our mind. People might think, oh, you're being too fixed, you're being too focused, you're being too inflexible when because you're so laser focused in one particular area, but don't mind them, don't listen to them. This card is indicating that you need to be focused. You need to be, really practical in your approach in order to achieve your goals. So, if other people think you're being too fixed, then forget it. Just go on your own path and trust your intuition on what that means for you, because ultimately, this is going to bring you more settledness, a feeling of more contentment in your life. Now, we always read this Pluto card in this position along with your result card. And the result card here for the month of October is Five of Spades. Now, fives are always about changes, and spades are about work and health. So this card in this position is almost guaranteeing a big change and a big transformation, leaving you in a new situation by the end of this month. Now, the change could be, and the new situation could be related to work, it could be related to health, or it could be related to your living situation. Whenever a five of spades shows up, it's really saying that you are ready to make a major change and a major life transition. And it's basically guaranteeing that this is going to happen for you. Now, again, we read these cards together with the Four of Clubs. So it's a guarantee it's going to happen for you as long as you do focus in and you do take practical approaches and do what you need to do, make the necessary changes in organization that you need to make in order to get to this point of transformation in those areas of your life. If you do so, then this Five of Spades is really guaranteeing a new direction that you're starting off in your life. And it's also indicating that you're going to have this personal freedom that you likely have been desiring in some way, shape, or form. So, this is really a positive card here. If you are somebody that has been wanting to implement and make changes, this is really the time, and this is when it's going to be happening, is in this month of October. Now, the affirmation for the Five of Spades is I complete this month with a new job, new health picture, or new residence or lifestyle. I make a major transition. For the Four of Clubs here, the affirmation is I create stability and satisfaction in my life. I achieve peace of mind and contentment, and it transforms me. So we've got two transformation cards here that are showing up in this month of October for you. So this is very exciting. Now we go up here to the Ace of Diamonds, and the Ace of Diamonds is in what's called the environment position, which is like the flavor of the month. This is the card that's kind of overseeing this whole reading for the month of October. And what we have with an Ace of Diamonds is a desire for a new start, or it's a desire for some sort of a change or something to be new. And this is related to diamonds, which are related to wealth, money, or values in general. So, this is a month that's going to bring you new beginnings. And the new beginnings are going to be blessings for you because it's in this environment position. Blessings are always coming in here. In fact, if we read this whole column, these are Jupiter down here, this Ace of Hearts and this Ace of Spades. Again, new beginnings are super highlighted as being beneficial this month. And in fact, even though they're new and changes can feel kind of disruptive, we've got this Four of Clubs here that's like holding down the four. As we know in sacred geometry, fours are steadying influence, they're earthly influence, they're a foundation. So it's basically saying, look, if you create your foundation here, if you get organized, if you create this four, then you are going to be really supported in these new beginnings and they're going to be successful because they are falling in both the environment position and the Jupiter blessings position here. But before we get down there, let's keep going on this Ace of Diamonds here. Now, the other aspects of the Ace of Diamonds is it's really an ideal influence. Okay. It's ideal, ideal time to start new businesses, also to start new personal relationships. There's some new values that are coming into play here. And starting over in different areas of your life, whichever they may be, are going to bring you actually contentment in a lot of ways. Any opportunities, for example, of making money or new business directions, I really encourage you, or the cards rather, are really encouraging you to follow those because they're indicating that they're going to bring you success. So keep an eye out and keep open and remain open to new opportunities that come in. And I encourage you to follow those because, again, they should be bringing you blessings as you move into new directions in the month of October. Then we come down here to the Seven of Diamonds and the Four of Diamonds, and these are in what's called the Mercury position. Now, Mercury influences are often very fleeting and fast moving. Here we have the Seven of Diamonds, and in this position, and actually can indicate that there's going to be money expenditures, there's going to be money going out this month, and it's going to be probably unexpected. It could bring up some fears for you in some ways. Watch for watch for overexpending and impulsive spending. So watch for impulsive spending and being more extravagant in your spending. That actually could be some of the problem and to where the reason for money going out more than you had intended. This card, though, is encouraging you to go higher because sevens are spiritual and to adopt more of an abundance mindset rather than a scarcity mindset, which can come up with some fears around money. This influence is also indicating it's not a good time for gambling. It's not a good time for speculative, kind of risky investment, get rich quick schemes. Those sorts of things are not highlighted or supported this month. So the cards are recommending against those. Now, although the seven is indicating that money could be going out, we do have the Four of Diamonds below. And as I said before, fours are stable factors. So even though we have money going out, ultimately we're going to be okay financially here. It's saying that money actually comes in rather quickly or unexpectedly, or you have a desire for money that's kind of unexpected. It says that there could be a quick return on an investment, though again, don't be gambling in terms of the investments. It's perhaps speaking about ones that you have already had in some ways, money's already invested or a pre-existing business deal, you could see some good returns on that. It's a good influence, though, to invest money in general. It's a good influence to invest in your own education at this time or to invest in materials or means that you are needing to run a business that is actually supporting that influence. Overall, again, with that four being stability, it's saying that you're going to have satisfaction regarding money. But again, these are quick influences here coming through in that Mercury period. So they are fleeting. As we scoot over to the King of Clubs and the 10 of Hearts, this is in what's called the Venus position. So this is related to love, related to women, and related to kind of beauty aspects. Now, the King of Clubs is indicating success in home and in personal relationships via using your mind and using your discerning powers of your mind that are gifted to you through the King of Clubs here and the mental mastery card. It indicates that it'd be beneficial for you to use this mental mastery this month to get rid of some clutter and also to get rid of relationships that are maybe not in your highest and best interest anymore. It indicates that you can have success in work and business, especially if it's related to women, to beauty, or to art, basically things that are aesthetic or related to women in general. Below that, we have the 10 of Hearts. And actually, we had the 10 of Hearts last month in this exact same position. And this is indicates success in personal and social relationships and gatherings. It also could indicate having a successful love affair. Relationships with women are highlighted. Relationships of getting together, groups of women collecting and gathering are really favored at this time. And they can be really a source of really positive things for all people involved. You also could have a desire for your own affectional needs getting met, and it indicates that these will be met this month, either in a one-to-one situation or in a group setting. So I'm curious because this card was in this exact same position last month in September. Please write in the comments below, did any of this play out for you? How were your relationships with women? Did you end up having some gatherings with women, whether that be in a retreat setting or just some gals getting together, whether it be with your one on one with a girlfriend or in group situations? Did you happen to have a successful love affair? Share it with us, please. I'd like to hear about how this 10 of Hearts played out for you in the month of September. And I hope it continues to play out in great form in this month of October for you. As we scoot over, we have the Queen of Spades and the Queen of Diamonds here. And this is in the Mars period. Mars is action oriented, kind of can be aggression on the lower side, things that we're really passionate about and involved in. And it's also often related to men. It's kind of funny here that we have two feminine cards in the Mars position here. The Queen of Spades is the card of self mastery, and it's saying you're going to get really good results here from passionately pursuing what you're interested in. And that's because you have control over yourself and you have control over your desires. And it says that if you are patient, you exercise patience, you exercise understanding, that's going to attract more success for you. So you might have to work for it because the Queen of Spades is the queen of, work and health. The spades are about work and health. So there's going to be some effort that's going to come in. And you're going to need to be organized again with this four up here is indicating organization as well. But both these cards are actually highlighting the need to be patient, the need to be understanding, and the need to be putting in some of your own efforts to kind of keep organized and keep on track. But if you do so, and if you really passionately put your efforts and focus and energy towards pursuing something, again, highlighting pursuing this something in particular here and keeping your focus on that, you're going to be successful in doing so. So harness the abilities that come with the Queen of Spades here because she is a master of herself. And that is going to come into play here and help you really move forward in the transformation that ultimately you are seeking, or you were unaware that you were seeking, but is coming for you one way or the other and is ultimately beneficial for you. Now, below that, we have the Queen of Diamonds, and she is a successful businesswoman, especially actually business that's related to anything with men. Similarly, as I just mentioned, it's you're going to be supported in a really solid, action-oriented, kind of aggressive pursuit of your goals. And you're going to have a really good sense of what sells, of what people are wanting, what they're interested in. So you're going to have a really good sense of that this month. Now, on the low side, the Queen of Diamonds can be extravagant. She can overspend and we do have that caution here too with the 7 of Diamonds. So overall this month, keep an eye on what you're spending. You are going to have money coming in, as we'll see here again with this full column here with the aces and the desire for new beginnings and the start of new beginnings, especially related to business. But do watch what you are spending. And there's also some impulsivity here. So do heed and pay attention to that. This is encouraging you to kind of slow down. So maybe leave those shopping carts, on, Amazon, leave them there for 24 hours before you purchase. You get the drift. Um, if any impatience comes up, try to channel that more towards action, towards the work you're trying to achieve, rather than impatience around an impulsive spending and buying. As we scoot over here, we have the Ace of Hearts and the Ace of Spades, and this is in what's called the Jupiter period. And Jupiter is all about blessings. And we have two aces here, which are both initiatory and starting energy. So the Ace of Hearts in general is known as a beginning or a desire for love, whether that be self-love or a desire for love in, a romantic relationship. Now, in Jupiter, it's also talking about desire for money. But how it plays out in Jupiter is it's actually this desire for money along with this purpose and desire to help others in actually a very unselfish way. So it's an interesting meaning in this placement here. It's talking about you have these humanitarian or spiritual ideals that you are trying to achieve and kind of inadvertently through focusing on those goals, it's going to bring blessings and going to bring money to you if you are following and pursuing things in an unselfish way. The Ace of Hearts showing up in this position can also indicate an unexpected letter coming through or an unexpected communication coming through related to money or your desire to money and or related to this unselfish pursuit of wanting to help others in some sort of way. Any relationships started now are going to be actually very beneficial, either and or financially, romantic wise, and spiritually. So those are highlighted and actually supported here in this month of October, and we'll get into the Nine of Hearts, which actually will indicate some endings. But with endings, there also is possibility for new beginnings, which is Ace of Hearts is showing us. Below the Ace of Hearts, we have the Ace of Spades. Now, this is the card, literally the symbol for the cards of the Magi. So it actually is very representative of any esoteric and mystical knowledge and occult information. This card could very much indicate here that you are having a desire to learn more about occult or mystical information, and learning more is going to bring you benefit financially, from any basically metaphysical involvement. Now, the Ace of Spades can also indicate a secret business deal. It can indicate a strong desire for work, which we already know is happening here. There is this desire for transformation. There is some sort of desire for work here. It also can indicate a big change in business money and business financials. And it can indicate actually a start of a new business. Now, all of these are very favorable to do any of those right now because it's in the Jupiter column here, meaning that blessings in general and financially are supported and are going to occur. So, any new business starting right now is basically destined for success. So, don't hesitate. Put yourself out there. These cards are really indicating, you are going to be successful now, especially if you are pursuing work that is in service of others and wanting to help others, as that's also supported by this Queen of Clubs up here, too. Now, as we scoot over to the Nine of Hearts and the Six of Diamonds, these are in what's called the Saturn period. And Saturn can be about lessons, it can be things that we learn and grow from. It also can mean things that we need to take care of in our day to day lives. Now, the Nine of Hearts and nines are about endings, hearts are about love and relationships. This could indicate some possible emotional issues and challenges, and those emotional issues and challenges could relate to impacting your health in a negative way. There could be something about a personal relationship that comes up that's either challenging or potentially disappointing. But actually, this card is favorable for relationships in public settings, and those actually can be really a source of fulfillment and joy, indicated by the Nine of Hearts in this particular position. But we've also got a lot of karma going on between this Nine of Hearts and this Six of Diamonds. So the Nine of Hearts can indicate that some karmic relationships are highlighted potentially for you this month. And they're highlighted in a way that they're teaching you something about yourself, teaching you something about your own way and perspective on love and on relationships. It's indicating that these relationships could come to an end this month. And it also could indicate divorce actually showing up in this month. So that is a possible manifestation of this card. But it can indicate really that a key relationship in your life is ending. It encourages us to let go, though, let go of personal attachments because ultimately it's going to lead to better relationships coming into your life. And depending on the timing of everything, you've got this Ace of Hearts here. It's potential that a new relationship could come in rather quickly, seeing how quickly things are coming through and, potentially and how quickly you're manifesting things. But again, new can't come in if you haven't gotten rid of or let go of the old. So that really needs to be started and done first. Now, below that, we have the Six of Diamonds. Sixes are also karmic in nature, and they also can indicate a lack of change. This could indicate a lack of change in any pre existing businesses. But it also is about money in some ways, as we see the diamonds here. So debts could be coming up for you. If you have any outstanding debts, now is the time where they may show up to be paid. And how much those are, how costly that is, and what that looks like will be dependent basically on your past behaviors and actions. That's how karma works. So, if you had been honest and fair in past dealings, then these are probably not going to be as challenging or difficult for you during this month of October. But either way, you are going to be faced with basically your actions of the past. Now, how do you deal with them now? Well, it is recommended that you deal with them directly, head on. Don't try to avoid them, address them and be very honest and fair in your dealings. And ultimately, take the lesson and grow from it and move on. As we scoot over to the Eight of Spades here and the King of Spades, these are very strong, good cards to have in this position, and they're very successful cards. So I'm excited to share. This is in what's called the Uranus position, and Uranus position is about surprises and the unexpected, but it also can relate to tech and the sciences, humanitarian efforts as well. So this card, the Eight of Spades, is indicating you can have power and success to overcome illness. So this is really fighting against, we had a couple other cards here that said you might not feel so good. Nothing highlighted too bad this month in terms of health, but basically, this Eight of Spades is saying that you're going to have the ability to overcome it, which is great. And it also indicates success in terms of things related to real estate, things related to humanitarian efforts, things related to technology, for example. It also indicates eights are about strength and power and also can be about people getting together. It indicates that you could have some really profitable connections that are made during this month of October. So you could lead to a lot of success and prosperity. So get yourself out there and make those connections, at least be open to them as opportunities. Again, that ace of diamonds up here indicated you might have some great business opportunities that come up. So don't shy away from them and make those connections here this month. Now, because there's such success and prosperity in this Eight of Spades card, although we have, some other cards, the Seven of Diamonds, which says some money might be going out, the Six of Diamonds, which says some money going out, your own extravagance, which could lead to some money going out. It's also saying that we're kind of protected money wise. It seems overall through this reading that we have a balance of money. I'm not seeing it one direction where it's like overly expenditures versus overly things coming in. It seems like overall there's going to be a balance. There's going to be a flow of finances, basically. Some is flowing out, but also some is flowing in. So there's some protection there I see here. And below that is the King of Spades. Now, the King of Spades is the master of all masters in the deck. It's basically guaranteeing you success. But this is if you are willing and decide to work for it. You're willing to actually look at yourself objectively and take really an inventory of what you actually need to do, where you need to adjust your behavior or make some changes that might be necessary here organizationally, focusing on a certain goal, for example. But if you do take the necessary steps and actions within yourself and in your behaviors and patterns, then it says that you really can achieve your goals and you're really supported in achieving your goals and you're going to have great success, which is indicated by this King of Spades. And it especially can be success related to groups, related to real estate, related to your work, technology, or humanitarian efforts here. So keep that in mind. Now, lastly, we move to the ace of clubs and the nine of spades, and these are in what's called the Neptune position. Now, the ace of clubs in this Neptune position is really a big desire for knowledge, specifically a desire for knowledge about things that might be distant, might be overseas. We know Neptune is the ruler of the seas, so it can be related to things that are abroad, for example, or at a distance. Um, and it indicates that you can get great education and information. We had this earlier in our reading from things that are gathered through travel. So, whether it be retreat in this month of October, that would be something kind of that would show up like this, or just travel in general. It's almost like you're on some sort of a quest. Again, aces are about desire and clubs are about the mind. It's as though you have a yearning to learn more and get more knowledge in things that are beyond our 3D realm. So, things that are related to potentially past lives or like for former incarnations or related to the quantum field and the energy field, related to things that are maybe more secret or esoteric information, metaphysical, meaning that which we cannot see, those sorts of things. But your own intuition is actually also going to be very on point, which we already know with this Queen of Clubs. But through your own intuition, you might actually get some invaluable information yourself, possibly some secrets, but information about yourself or others. So that's also really highlighted here. So I encourage you to tap in. This card in this position also is supportive and indicates the potential of a beginning of a new job or a beginning of a new idea, which again, we have all up in here in terms of transformation and starting anew here. Now we have the nine of spades below that in the Neptune period. And we also had this in the month of September. So this is a theme that's continuing. And one of the cautions here with the nine of spades in Neptune is the potential for accidents related to the water, related to the sea, related to boating, these sorts of things. It could be indicating some kind of world natural disasters related to the sea. That's possible showing up here. It also indicates possible accidents related to any substance use, meaning like any drugs, any alcohol during this month, or any distant kind of affairs. So do be mindful of that. And I think this theme is coming through again because a lot of people who, are on the spiritual path, maybe they're going through an awakening process, they're getting more tapped into their intuition here. They're able to connect more to the higher realms or the unseen realms as you're developing and your frequency is elevating, getting higher. You may be more susceptible and more sensitive to any substances that you put in your body. So, one glass of wine might have, you might have reacted to one way a year ago, whereas now you might feel like, wow, I'm super wobbly after one glass of wine. So, I think that's changing for a lot of us who are spiritually developing more and getting more tapped in and more tuned in, that, any substances can affect us much more basically than they may have before. So do be mindful of that. The nine of spades also in this position could indicate a potential disappointment related to a trip or some sort of a distant affair. Now, that could be for us on a global scale here, or that could be on an individual level as well. It is saying, though, that fulfillment can occur through helping others. This is, again, this humanitarian, this giving, this service to others, and this teaching of others is coming into play here and is encouraged. The nine of spades can indicate that a long cherished dream might be coming to an end. It might have been something that you have worried about for quite some time, but this card's saying don't be afraid or disappointed by the ending. I mean, you can acknowledge your feelings, but don't lean into that too much because ultimately it's the best thing for you. And these endings are really the best for everybody involved, but it's also allowing better to come. So that also could be related to like changes in the way you're thinking because it is below this ace of clubs here. So it could be that actually, wow, I'm really thinking differently than I did before. Maybe you welcome that in because ultimately maybe it's helping you get to where you need to go. So all in all, we have a big month of October again in comparison to September, where we had more nines. We have a couple here, but We had a prominent nines in last month's reading. We have all the aces in this month's reading, meaning that we really are moving towards the new. The beginnings are supported here, trying out new things. Now, it's indicating that use your intuition here because you have her power. You've been working on your intuition, you've been working on developing spiritually, and now you have it at your disposal. So use your intuition. You're supported, especially if you're in any of the helping fields, the spiritual fields, that sort of thing, and the communication fields. This is indicating this month that if you focus on a particular goal, and I think you know what that is. In fact, I'd love to hear it. Please mention it in the comments below. If you focus yourself pretty stringently on a particular goal, you do the adjustments that you need to make internally and externally, perhaps in your behaviors and patterns. Maybe you get some equipment that you need for work or get yourself set up with the right technology or tools, whatever. Get yourself organized here. That is going to set you up for big transformation in terms of your health, your work, or and your relationships actually in this month as well. So transformation is coming. Change is happening and it's going to be in your best interest and really beneficial to you. You really are supported also financially if you do make these changes. So you are encouraged to. You are encouraged to make these changes. You are encouraged also to sign up for those classes, pursue your knowledge or your interest and your passions in terms of new knowledge. Those are also really, really supported here and really favorable in this month. So you really could be going through a lot of changes in multiple areas of your life. That's okay. Welcome them in because ultimately they are in your best interest and they're going to bring you a lot of blessings. And again, if you have any karmic stuff coming up this month, learn what you need to learn from it. Do follow up in fairness and in honesty in these practices, and you'll be able to move forward here pretty regularly. But all in all, we've got some really supportive influences. We've gotten two master cards, the Queen of Spades and the King of Spades here. So you're really supported this month in making the moves that you want to in order to achieve that transformation that you are looking for and really have been wanting for quite some time. Now is the time in October 2025. So thank you so much for being here with me today. It was great spending this time with you. I'd always love to hear from you, your comments below, and I look forward to seeing you back here for the month of November 2025. See you then.